Colonel Branson leaned back in his chair, the heavy oak legs scraping against the barracks' concrete floor. His voice, sharp and mocking, cut through the silence like a blade.
Late again, Lieutenant? What's it this time?
Traffic on the supply road, or maybe you tripped over your own excuses. The room chuckled. Young recruits, senior officers, even the staff clerk hiding behind piles of paperwork, all smirked at the colonel's dry wit. He had a reputation for chewing people up and spitting them out, but he especially seemed to enjoy his verbal duels with Lieutenant Evelyn Hart. She stood at attention, shoulders squared, jaw tight. The dim light caught her eyes, calm but burning, like coals hidden under ash. "My apologies, sir," she said evenly, though her voice carried a weight no one else could measure. Branson tilted his head, his grin wide and cruel. "Apologies don't win wars, Hart. Maybe you're just not cut out for this. Maybe a desk job would better suit you. Somewhere safe, far away from men who fight and bleed." A ripple of laughter. Evelyn didn't flinch. Her silence only seemed to provoke him further. "What's your excuse this time, Lieutenant?" the colonel pressed, his tone dripping with disdain. "Because unless you've got a story worth hearing, I'd say you're wasting all of our time." The room hushed, waiting for her response. She opened her mouth, then stopped. Her throat worked, words trapped. Finally, she spoke, barely above a whisper. "I was delayed, sir. A personal matter." The colonel barked a laugh. "A personal matter? This is the army, Hart. You think bullets pause for personal matters? You think the enemy waits while you tend to your fragile needs?" More chuckles. Evelyn's fists clenched behind her back. She kept her chin high, her silence deliberate. The colonel smirked again, content to end the show. But then something in her stillness, too deliberate, too heavy, caught his eye. He leaned forward. "Go on then, Lieutenant. Tell us. What personal matter was worth delaying your duty? Or are you simply admitting you can't handle the strain?" The barracks air thickened. Evelyn's lips parted, and for the first time her voice carried something raw. "You wouldn't believe me, sir." "Oh, I believe everything," Branson sneered. "Especially when it comes from excuses." That was when Evelyn did something no one expected. She reached for the buttons of her uniform jacket. The room stilled. One by one, the brass buttons came undone. She shrugged off the jacket, her undershirt clinging to her frame, and as she rolled up her sleeve, the laughter died like a candle snuffed out. The scars told their own story. Deep ridges carved across her forearm, jagged burns climbing up toward her shoulder. Old bullet tracks fading into twisted flesh. They weren't random, they weren't careless accidents. They were maps of battles, etched into her skin. Gasps broke the silence. Even Branson blinked, his smirk faltering. Evelyn's voice trembled at first, then steadied as she spoke. 3 years ago, before you ever learned my name, I was sent behind enemy lines with a rescue unit. We were ambushed. The radio failed. Outnumbered, outgunned. I carried 2 men out under fire, dragging them through mud while bullets tore the air apart. I took shrapnel here, she pointed to her side, and burns here when the fuel tank exploded. She held up her arm, the twisted scars glinting under the dim light. They left me for dead. I wasn't expected to walk again, let alone serve, but I came back. I didn't ask for pity. I didn't ask for recognition. I asked only to keep serving. Her words hit like thunder rolling over the mountains. The recruits shifted uneasily, guilt flickering across their faces. No one dared laugh now. Branson, for once, was speechless. His mocking tongue betrayed him, his lips pressed tight. Evelyn locked eyes with him. "My excuse, sir," she said quietly, "is that I had to change the bandages this morning after they tore open during drills. I was late because I chose not to bleed on your parade ground. If that makes me unfit, then so be it." The room was stone. No one breathed. The colonel's jaw worked as if he wanted to bark another insult, but none came. For the first time, the man who mocked everyone else looked small. And then, unexpectedly, one of the young recruits stood. His voice cracked but carried through the silence. "Permission to speak, sir." Branson's eyes snapped toward him, sharp. But the recruit didn't flinch. "Lieutenant Hart saved one of my cousins in that ambush. We were told a nameless soldier dragged him out alive. He told me he owed his life to someone who wouldn't even let him say thank you." All eyes turned back to Evelyn. Her face betrayed nothing, but her hands trembled at her sides. The colonel rose slowly, his expression unreadable. He took a long breath and let it out, the sound heavy in the still room. "Lieutenant Hart," he said at last, his voice stripped of mockery, dismissed from reprimand. But as she moved to gather her jacket, his tone shifted, lower, raw, almost human. "And Lieutenant, thank you." The words hung in the air, clumsy and fragile but real. Evelyn met his eyes for just a moment, then gave a crisp salute and walked out, the echo of her boots steady against the floor. Behind her, the barracks remained silent, each soldier carrying the weight of what they had just seen. The scars no longer belonged only to her. They had become reminders carved into every heart in that room. Colonel Branson never mocked her again. And though Evelyn Hart never asked for it, whispers spread like wildfire through the ranks. The lieutenant who carried men through fire, the woman who defied death, who bled quietly, who bore her scars without complaint. She had been late, yes, but her truth had arrived right on time.